Chapter 42. C18C. I made us stand there and watch the black hole consume most of C18. I steadfastly ignored the level up alerts, so as not to give Omega any more potential power. For all I know, the game may consider him trapped and defeated. The quest never said to kill him, so I couldn't really be sure. But I also know that he wouldn't ignore the chance to escape if it was presented to him. KLL. I am beginning to feel the pull as well. Broly tells me, glancing over at me. I don't answer for a moment before nodding. Yeah. If Omega is still in there, he's never getting out. It's time to go. Broly reaches over to place a single hand on my shoulder. With a resolute pop, we're gone, leaving Omega and 918 citizens of the Scion Empire to their grave. Planet Earth, 1 day later, age 782. My eyes snapped open at the knocking on my door. The door slides open as I wave at it, the sensor understanding my request. The tall form of Broly is backlit from the hallway light before he steps in. KLL, I gave you a day as requested. I'd like to know what happened, what all of that was. I'd like to know what happened to us. He asks quietly. I nod, sitting up fully from the bed. I had asked him to give me a day to order everything in my mind, to answer some questions of my own, before I explained what all of that was. The blinking alerts informing me that I'd leveled up continue to annoy me. I mentally reach over and tap them. The world slows down around me, turning gray as more alerts pop up. Bing! Congrats on making it to level 24. Please enjoy the below perks as a thank you for playing the game. New levels in the trainer room. New feats on the feat tree. Enhanced feats for all your favorite feats. I glance at the feat tree, looking immediately for what new options have popped up. It doesn't take me long to spot a set of feats under the special section. Special feats. 1. Super Kaioken X4, level 15 restricted, enabled the use of the Kaioken special move, while in a transformed state. A. Super Kaioken X10, level 20 restricted, enabled the use of the Kaioken special move, while in a transformed state. B. Super Kaioken X50, level 25 restricted, enabled the use of the Kaioken special move, while in a transformed state. C. Super Kaioken X100, level 30 restricted, enabled the use of the Kaioken special move, while in a transformed state. 2. Imperfect God Kai, level 20 restricted, Super Saiyan Blue/Rose restricted, gain permanent access to Super Saiyan God Imperfect. A. Perfect God Kai, level 25 restricted, gain permanent access to Super Saiyan God. I consider the two newest feats, wondering what the point of them are before shrugging and selecting Imperfect God Kai. I finalize the selection, dropping my skill points as usual. I finish up and end the level up. I pull up my summary sheet, taken back by what it says. Name KLL. Title Scion God. Race Scion. Age 15 years. Status Alive. LVL 24. 3078. 550/9. 000 XP. Fem 921. 450 XP till level 25. Base Energy 250,000. Energy Regen 3,250,000. Power Level 78 million. Energy Modifier 90.4. Final Power Level 7051 200 000/*. A. Final Power Level Potential Unlocked 3598 538 512 210.48/*. Final Power Level with Super Saiyan Multiplier 10 951 200 000/*. Final Power Level with Super Saiyan 2 Multiplier 137 529 600 000/*. Final Power Level with Super Saiyan God Imperfect 19,990,434,048,000. Final Power Level with Super Saiyan Rose 31,047,090,048,000.00. I tap through a few options and quickly find the breakdown. With fully unlocking Super Saiyan Rose, the little purple star finally has an explanation. After drinking the sacred water, I was slowly building God Kai with every increase in power. I can't find an exact number, but it seemed that I gained 1% for each increase of a certain level. Once I reached 100%, I was able to use Super Saiyan Rose/Blue, but couldn't without first doing the ritual for Super Saiyan God. Of course, unlike Goku and Vegeta, I can't generate the God Kai on my own. Well, before unlocking that new feat at least. I think, looking everything over. Yet it seems I'm an actual deity, which is why I got Rose, not Blue. This is confusing. It seemed that for me, Super Saiyan Rose was because my body absorbed a portion of power from Super Saiyan God, and I was able to use it in conjunction with Super Saiyan. It still seemed circular to me, and I couldn't find where it started, or where it ended. As far as the game was concerned though, the breakdown for the power levels was a large addition to my energy modification, which is then multiplied by what it called God Kai percentage. Power level equals EM plus 1000 XPL x God Kai %. I didn't have a calculator on me, so I couldn't find the exact number. But my God Kai percentage was at 235.04% for my base form, 365.04% for Super Saiyan, which using the above calculation lead to an imperfect Super Saiyan God power level of almost 20T and a Super Saiyan Rose power level of almost 31T. I shook my head at both the absurdity of having a power level that high and the absolute ridiculousness of how that is calculated. I bet this would make sense in a paper and pen game like Dungeons & Dragons, I thought before exiting the menu system. A short pulse of bioelectricity passed over me, causing me to shudder as it passed over me. Broly looked down at me from where I was sitting on the edge of the bed, obviously waiting for an explanation. Do you have anywhere you'd like me to start? I ask. Who or what were those beings we fought yesterday? He asks after a moment. In this universe, Broly, there are several sets of mystical objects, called Dragonballs. You saw one after I finished off Oversys. That was the 2-star Dragon Ball that belongs on planet Namek. I start. There are 2 sets here on Earth, and another much more powerful set spread about the multiverse. He mouths multiverse, clearly curious but filing away the thought for the moment. He nods to say he understands so far. Those objects, when gathered in their set of 7, can be used to summon a very large dragon that can grant wishes. Any wish within their rules. However, if abused, they build up negative energy, which can spawn the shadow dragons. The ones we fought yesterday were the shadow dragons born from the Namekian Dragon Balls, which were abused for several years in a row by a scion named Tulls. I see. That would explain their power. The one, Omega, he had absorbed the others. He asks. That's right. I defeated Tulls, but in the process, he made 2 wishes to increase in strength to beat me. Omega had already explained that the wishes that spawned them were still active if corrupted. Every time I got stronger or used more strength to fight him, a second later he would grow stronger as well. I timed it twice to be sure. I explain, rubbing the spot on my chest where I had been stabbed. How did you heal? Broly asks, cocking his head slightly. I consider for a moment how I should explain that to him the best. I could tell him the truth, but I wasn't sure how he would take it, or that he would even understand. Do you know what a video game is, Broly? I ask, curious. No. He replies, puzzled. A video game is like a TV show you can control. I tell him. I have an ability that mimics a video game. As long as I can sleep for a few minutes, I can heal from most injuries, even those that would kill me normally. What is a TV show? He asks, even more puzzled. I'll show you one later. That should help, I think. I finish. Suffice it is to say that it's a helpful ability. So when you had me fight him, you slept to heal? That's correct. I sent a message to alert Plan B to return in 5 minutes, and to power you up much like they do for me. I reply. I got a power boost from healing from near death. A very large power boost. I knew I couldn't use it against him immediately, so I only used a bit. Enough to time his power increase once more to be certain. Of course, that coincided with the return of Plan B. What did they do to me? I was near death, laying in a puddle of mud. They injected me with something, and then placed their hands on me as they did for you before you fought Omega the first time. Broly asks. Super Saiyan God, I whisper. When 5 righteous Scions give their energy to a 6th, the receiver will ascend to the godhood. It's a new form, much like our previous transformations, but on an entirely different level. I was stronger than you as a Super Saiyan God than you were when you used the form. He says, you were. Your base form is much stronger than my own, and your Super Saiyan transformations increase your power even more. I explain. What about the pink form you used afterward? He asks. I wasn't able to sense your power until after I was transformed, but it was massive. When a Scion that has used Super Saiyan God surpasses it, they gain access to Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan. It's normally blue. I don't understand why mine is pink. Probably a part of who I am. I answer. I can feel the energy still burning within me, as though it's right at the surface, ready to be released again. Broly says after several minutes of silence. Really? Asks standing up. Can you try to tap into it? Broly frowns for a moment, a grimace of concentration. Before like a spark to gasoline, he lights up like a bonfire. Where before I wasn't able to study him in any great amount of time, I now take a chance to really look. His body remains unchanged, if perhaps a bit thinner, healthier. The signs of aging have faded almost completely, the few small wrinkles around his eyes completely gone. His hair, thick and unruly as it normally is, has turned a bright burning red. His aura is perhaps the thing that stands out the most. Where Goku, Vegeta, and my own auras turned completely fiery orange, Broly still had little motes and flecks of his sickly green. I'll be damned. You can access it naturally. I say in awe. What does that mean? Broly asks, looking down at his own body. It means that now that you've tasted the power of a god, your body can generate God Ki all on its own. I explain, as he drops back to base form. Does that mean I will eventually reach the blue or pink form as well? He asks. I don't know, I answer truthfully. So what is next? You mentioned a planet Scion before Omega showed up. He asks, standing up. I sigh, thinking back to what Omega had said. The Scions have betrayed you multiple times. It wasn't hard to imagine using Broly in an attempt to force me to ascend to Super Saiyan God would count as a betrayal. If it did, what else did they do? What else could count as a betrayal? Broly, I need to tell you a few more things. So they used me as a weapon to try and force you to ascend? Broly asks after I finish. Yeah. It wasn't necessarily a bad idea, outside of your forced involvement. I've done things similar in the past to help push other Scions to Super Saiyan. I say as we make our way down the hallway. I can understand the need. The monster Majin Buu sounds like a deadly foe, without the power of Super Saiyan God. Broly responds. He was either way, that would surely count as a betrayal. If so, what else could they have done? I ask. I do not know, KLL. The only Scions I have ever known is my father, the ones that hunted me and died for it, King Vegeta and you. I do not know enough about my people to answer you. Broly explains. Yeah. You think it's possible Omega simply lied? I ask at last. I don't know. He seemed to not be above to say, or do as needed to push you to increase your power. Your power was his power, was it not? He would surely lie if it meant more power for himself. Broly wisely answers. True, I say before we stop at a door. I think I may need to ask Indivaya. What will you do if what you learn is bad? He asks. I pause, my hand on the handle to the door. I don't know. Having said our goodbyes to Bulma, and a promise to explain what happened in West City on my next visit, Broly and I make a trip to Cammy's lookout. It's a short visit, mainly to find out the best time to return to make the final wish, and to help Cammy absorb Piccolo. I sensed you from here on Earth, KLL, Cammy says as we prepare to leave. You, and the beast you were fighting. It wasn't an easy fight, I reply. He was, perhaps, the most dangerous enemy I'll ever face. Perhaps, will you show me your new form, KLL? Cammy asks. I nod, before pushing slightly to ascend into Super Saiyan Rose. It's almost like warm water soaks me, drying instantly as the transformation finished, leaving me refreshed and filled with energy. Cammy circles me once, looking me over, nodding to himself. I see. It's definitely an interesting transformation, KLL. Much like your Super Saiyan transformation. It's interesting that I can sense you in this form, but not your normal. Cammy mentions. Probably the difference in key type, I explain. Quite. Cammy says. Well, return in 15 days, and the Dragon Balls will be ready for use. Do you know what you will use it for? No. I reply before grabbing Broly's arm. And that's a problem. Planet Scion. With a pop, Broly and I appear just a dozen feet from the entrance to Planet Scion's palace. I can sense Indivaya within, along with several other Scions. Almost immediately we're surrounded by several Scions, most in Super Saiyan, but 2 are in Super Saiyan 2, the pops of instant transmission preceding their presence. Stand down. I order before they are even able to raise their hands into attack position, or say anything. Sir. Most of them reply, saluting. I'm sorry for the sudden appearance, men. I must commend you for your swift arrival, both today and yesterday. In the face of an unknown power showing up, especially one as massive as his. I tell them, Sir, who is he? One of them asks as they move aside to let us pass. This is Broly. Well, let's just say he's the second strongest Scion in the Empire, and leave it at that. I tell them, yes, sir. The obvious leader replies. Do you need anything, sir? No, just need to check in with the king. Thank you, though. I tell them, and motion Broly to follow. I can't help but feel a little smug at how the Scions treat me. The fact that people with the strength to destroy an entire planet look at me in awe is quite interesting. I can understand why Vegeta had a big head. I think as we make our way inside, we pass through the large doors that house the large throne room, finding a line of Scions waiting to see Indivaya. I consider getting in line, but realize the folly of that. As we make our way past the line, I see one of the aides start towards before stopping dead still. We work our way to the front and are quickly spotted. KLL, Indivaya says, interrupting the Scion that was trying to ask him a question. My king, as you can see I have returned, alive and well. I announce, striding forward. I stop at the throne and kneel, Broly quickly joining me at my side. KLL, stop with this nonsense. You know you don't need to bow with me. Indivaya says, before turning to one of his aides. Could you please reschedule everyone for later? I need to speak with KLL immediately. They bow and begin to usher all the other Scions out, quickly emptying the room for the 3 of us. KLL, what happened? You contacted me in a panic a day ago, requesting Plan B, and then show up yesterday completely naked to make an announcement about impending doom. You had us all in a panic. Indivaya asks, after having chairs pulled up for us. I explain a bit, not mentioning what the shadow dragons are, or how they came to be. The keen insight given to me by the gamer's mind is telling me quite clearly that I've trusted the science far too much. I don't give as much detail as I'm sure he expected, but I think by now Indivaya has come to accept that I'm secretive. And who is this? His power level is absurd. He asks finally. This is Broly. He's the one your father used to try and push me to Super Saiyan God. He's the legendary Super Saiyan. Oh. Indivaya gasps, looking at Broly sharply. He's fine now, I reply to his searching look. Alright, good. So the current threat is done. No more issues coming up. Indivaya asks, considering the conversation. Nothing that currently needs to be worried about, no. I tell him. A few personal matters to be dealt with, but everything should be calm for a few months. Good to know, KLL. We should get Broly registered and induct him into the strike forces. He replies, yeah, that's a good idea. He's already well past Super Saiyan, so he can go into the SSF. I say, standing up. Broly, I've got an extra bedroom in my apartment. You can stay there for now. Nodding, Broly stands up and follows after me. The conversation with Indivaya wasn't completely to my liking, but at the moment I couldn't do much about it. I didn't actually have anything tying me to the planet, so I could always leave whenever I want. I imagine that with everything coming up, I probably would in the end regardless. A quick flight leads Broly and me to the apartment building I stay in, and we drop silently onto the roof. I pause as I get close to the entrance, turning around to find that Broly is standing at the edge, staring out. I walk back over to, pausing at his side. You okay, Broly? I ask. I'm a little sad that I never saw much of planet Vegeta. My father spoke of it quite often before he died. I only saw that small city before I was put under for treatment. He says after a moment, I am happy that I can be among my own people and not feel the urge anymore. I'm confident that when I go to sleep, I won't wake up to a dead planet around me. So you are actually okay now? I ask. Yes, I believe so. I know that Omega said the Kais messed with your mind, but they helped me. It's possible that they thought they were helping when they worked on your own. He replies, before turning away from the city below. I agree. Omega was right, in that I needed my full abilities to fight him equally. I don't agree that the Kais were using me. They wouldn't have brought you to me or healed me if they were just using me. As it were, at full power, you were stronger than me without Super Saiyan God. If they just needed a fighter, you were already indebted to them, and without any danger. I tell him as we head to the entrance. Good. I had worried that you may wish revenge on them. Broly explains, almost sheepishly. Would you have tried to stop me? I ask. No, but I would not have helped you against them. Earth, 15 days later. With a final pop, I reappeared on top of Kami's lookout, the 3-star Dragon Ball held in my right hand, the Dragon Radar in my left. Kami and Mr. Popo stand near the entrance, the 6 other Dragon Balls arrayed at their feet. I walked over and set the Dragon Ball in its allocated spot. Are you ready, KLL? Kami asks, looking over at me. I know, not really. It's the last wish, and I'm not sure what to wish for. There is still so much that needs to be done, so much I need to know. I reply, looking down at them. There are so many wrongs that need to be made right, some of which are by my own hand. Tell me of them. Kami replies, the people that died in West City. I could wish them back to life. My friend Bara Kakarot. Muri is lost, potentially living in a true hell as he dies and is brought back time and time again. I explain. I could wish that your evil nature is removed, fixing what I did to you. My mind is like 2 halves, one saying that this wish needs to be made to further my goals, the other half clamoring to fix what I've broken. I see, well, KLL, allow me to take one option off the board for you. Shinran is powerful, but even he is unable to change my personality. As for the rest, I shall give this advice, he says, before continuing. This wish is important only in that it is the final one this set will ever make. The Namekian Dragon Balls are lost, as you mentioned. Muri would be able to remake them in time. You've mentioned that there is a threat on the horizon. Surely having more allies would be of some level of help. I see, thank you, Kami. I tell him, looking back down at the Dragon Balls. Let me know when you're ready, KLL, Kami says, before turning to look down on the planet below. This wasn't an easy choice to make. My mind wasn't helping, sadly. With the gamer's mind on, it was telling me that wishing for Muri to be brought here was the best wish. More good could come of that than anything else. There was the possibility he could somehow retrieve the Namekian Dragon Balls from the black hole, or perhaps make a new set. I could only imagine the horrors he had faced in the final moments of Namek. What could have led him to use the Dragon Balls again? He was saving them for me. Something bad must have happened to push him to use them. I can't imagine he didn't know what it meant with them damaged. But he used them anyway. I thought. There was a mystery there, and the answers could be important. On the other hand, with Gamer's mind turned off, I couldn't help but think to wish back Bara or Kakarot. Both would be immensely helpful to have around, not to mention I missed them. Super Saiyan God would be easy to pass on to them, and that would give me another ally against Beerus. I'm ready, Cammy, I tell them, before making my way to the center of the lookout. Arise, Shenron. Cammy calls as the Dragon Balls begin to pulse. Shenron's long form explodes out of the bright golden light of the Dragon Balls. Folding within itself into infinity, his long serpentine body stretches out far above us. My heart pounds in my chest, a small bit of panic rising up knowing that the choice I make here means no going back. Shenron seems to almost pause, as though sensing something from far away. It seems that Purunga has fallen, Shenron says, his voice rumbling like thunder. That's right, Shenron. Cammy calls up to him. I also want you to know that this is the last time you'll be called upon. I want to thank you for all your help. I see in that case farewell. Shenron says, looking down at us all. Cammy nods at me, letting me know that it's time. Shenron, I wish. I start before pausing again. I know that this choice will define everything from here on out. I can't make it lightly. Shenron, I wish that the Namekian Muri be brought from wherever he is now, to this location alive and safe. I call out. Shenron's eyes glow red before there is a pulse of white light. Muri appears before us, dropping harshly to his knees that crack against the white tiles of the lookout. He cries out, a sound between anger and anguish. I rush forward to catch him before he can collapse fully. Muri, you're safe now. I tell him. We've got you now. He clutches onto me, great heaving sobs escaping him. I hold him for a moment before he finally looks up to see me. He jerks back as though I hit him, crawling backward away from me. Muri, what's wrong? I ask, reaching out for him. Stay away, Scion. He yells, crawling further away from me. What? I ask, looking around at Mr. Popo and Cammy. KLL, leave for a while and we'll talk to him. Come back tomorrow, and we shall take care of my issue. Cammy tells me. I nod, before disappearing with a pop. What the fuck is going on? Earth, the next day. I appear with a soft pop, the sun blazing high above. It's been just over 24 hours since I made my final wish, and brought Muri back from wherever he was. His reaction to me left a lot to be desired. As I walk towards the entrance, Mr. Popo steps out and quickly stops me. KLL, wait please. He says as he gets close. Do you know what's happening? I ask quickly. KLL. He begins, telling me immediately that I'm not going to like what I hear. Kidnapped. Tortured for weeks. Raditz. Jolly. Shadow dragons. Vegeta. 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 I whispered, pure rage filtering through the gamer's mind. I could feel it working overtime, trying to halt the waves of rage flowing over me. Wave after wave of rage passed over me, a level of anger, and dare I say hatred, I had never once felt before. I had thought they had betrayed me once, sending Kakarot as my executioner. The true betrayal was hidden, like a knife in my back, where before I had been sad, hopeful even then that I may be able to talk some sense into them. I felt a shattering in my mind, as the gamer's mind failed, unable to stem the tide. There would be no further hope. There would be no further trust. There would be answers, and there would be retribution. Vegeta! And with a sharp crack, like a lightning strike, I was gone.